On average, one worker dies and hundreds are seriously injured every week on Australian construction sites.
My husband Des was killed in a worksite accident 5 years ago. He was working on a tilt-up wall that came down. He bled to death on site before anyone could help him. Every day I think about him. Every day I miss him.
The CFMEU is working to ensure workers go home to their families at night. They think it's a fight worth fighting and always will.
Authorised by the CFMEU East Perth.
One of the most dramatic events in New York City in the 1960s was the construction of the World Trade Center. Design and construction would take years and the efforts of thousands of people. A project of this size created enormous challenges. Challenges that demanded the use of dramatic new engineering concepts. A wide variety of designs was considered. Final plans called for a complex of low-level buildings surrounding two 1,350-foot towers, the tallest ever built. Their great height was made possible by the use of load-bearing walls. Extremely tall buildings were traditionally inefficient, since huge amounts of interior space were taken up by structural supports and elevators. The Trade Center towers would overcome this problem. The exterior walls were designed to bear much of the weight of the towers, as well as all of the wind loads. The only internal supports would be in a central core of columns. Elevators would be placed in the shafts formed by the core columns. To further conserve space, the towers would be organized into 3 zones served by express elevators. Local elevators would run within each zone. These engineering considerations determine the tower's basic design. Sheer symmetrical walls rising without setbacks. As each section was completed, 25-ton cages of metal reinforcement rods were lowered into the slurry-filled trench. Kangaroo cranes, imported from Australia, were used for the first time in the United States. The cranes were assembled on top of the core columns. Each could lift 60 tons at a time. They would be the driving force behind the tower's construction. The cranes have the ability to jack themselves up 36 feet at a jump. As the walls grew to the height of a crane, the crane would hoist itself up, a neighboring crane would swing core columns into place beneath it, and construction would continue. 3 basic elements were used. 2 or 3-story high sections for the load-bearing wall, massive steel beams for the core columns, and floor sections to span the 60 feet between core and wall. Through the complex orchestration of these structural elements, 3 floors could be constructed in 10 days. For its many engineering innovations, the Trade Center was cited as the outstanding engineering achievement of 1971.
Question.